Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. I hope you're all having a wonderful day wherever you are in the world, and I hope the sun is shining a bit brighter for you than it is here in London today. Thank you very much, everyone, for taking the time out of your busy schedules to join us for today's webinar, and we're super excited to share what we are calling the next chapter for Lean Library, as we have just launched some incredibly exciting features that have transformed Lean Library into the ultimate end-to-end research tool for your library to provide to your students and researchers. But I won't get into that yet, as I'll hand you over to Adam and Sophie in a bit to go through all the exciting parts. But I can see people are still joining, so let's just give it another couple of minutes before we properly kickstart the webinar. But in the meantime, let me introduce myself and the team that we have on the webinar today. So I'm Nicole Cunningham, and I am the Product Marketing Manager for Lean Library here at Technology from Sage, and I'll be the host for today's webinar. So I'll be keeping an eye on the chat for any questions or discussion and just making sure that the webinar runs smoothly. And I'm absolutely delighted to be joined also by my two fantastic colleagues today. So we first have Adam Barry, our growth manager at Technology from Sage. And if you're active on LinkedIn, you might have seen some of his brilliant posts about all things library related. So if you haven't seen them before, definitely check them out after today's session. And also we're joined by Sofian, our senior product owner for Lean Library. But I'm sure they'll both introduce themselves properly in a little moment. But a huge thank you to both of you for being here with us today. And just before I hand it over, let's run through a quick bit of housekeeping, just to make sure we're all set and ready to go. So in terms of audio and visual settings, just please take a moment to check your settings, and if someone could kindly confirm in the chat or via the Q&A box that you can clearly hear me and see the slides, that would be much appreciated, just so I know I'm not talking to myself. And if you are having any troubles with the audio or visual, we recommend leaving the webinar and rejoining. And when you rejoin, Zoom should prompt you to check your settings, and that usually sorts everything out. And please do connect with each other through the chat. We absolutely love hearing from you all. And maybe feel free to start by introducing yourself and letting us know where you're tuning in from today. As I know we have a mixture of Lean Library customers and some librarians who will not know much about Lean Library at all from all over the world. So it's amazing to see you all come together today for this webinar. And in terms of questions, ask us everything and anything by using the Q&A box or the chat box, and we'll either answer them live during the presentation in the chat box or at the end of the session. And if we don't get around to your questions today, rest assured I will get back to you and follow up via email. And just a heads up that today's webinar is being recorded, and we will share it with you via email the next day or two. If you'd like to watch it back or share it with your colleagues, that'll be with you. And then just the last thing for me before I hand it over to Adam, just a quick overview of what we have in store for you today. So I've covered the welcome and housekeeping, and next up I'll be handing over to Adam, who will take you through a brief overview and history of Lean Library, plus insights into the changing landscape of academic research with findings from our Lean Library Futures report, which I'll drop in the chat in just a moment because we've just launched a new one, which is definitely worth the read. And then Adam will walk us through the research ecosystem approach that Lean Library has just transformed into. And then finally, Sofian will showcase our latest Lean Library developments, including our exciting new one-click to PDF functionality and Lean Library Workspace. So I think that is everything from me. So I will hand it over now to Adam to get us started.
So good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody, wherever part of the world you're joining from. Thank you, Nicole. I'm going to walk you through the brief history of Lean Library, give you an overview of some of the core components of Lean Library, and then we will look at some of our findings from our Librarian Futures reports. So for some of you who may not know, Lean Library was founded in 2016 at Utrecht University in the central Netherlands. And as you can see there, it was founded as an access broker. And this is the terminology that that was coined back then. And actually, it was created as a very basic prototype initially at Utrecht University because they identified that the usage of the library discovery layer on the library website was decreasing. So after interviews with faculty and students, they identified that many were skipping and bypassing the traditional library systems. Hence, the concept of Lean Library was founded then. So I'm not going to go through all of the list here, and I appreciate for any of our customers in the audience, you will understand the terminology here, but for some, for the people who aren't, yeah, it's not going to make much sense for you right now. But one thing that I really want to bring attention to is that from the 2016 to 2021, is very much in this access broker space, providing access to content and resources directly in user workflows and discovery of content. But then we introduced Lean Library Futures, which was looking at more parts of the library. So not just about discovering, accessing content, more about how can we support students at this moment? How can we provide also special collections is another part of that. So we decided to bring more of what the library does into the user workflow. And then we skip forward to 2025 and it totally changes again because we introduced Lean Library Workspace, which is a reference and citation manager. So in effect, Lean Library now covers many different parts of the learning and research workflow of students. I will explain more as we go on. So on the left-hand side, the library has always been seen as this destination for patrons, and I think more so for the rise of the internet and the World Wide Web. For me to access library resources or services, I would have to physically be present within the library building. Or maybe they'd have the mobile libraries that used to come around my village, actually. And then even with the library website, if I want to access content or I want to access services, maybe a LibGuide, maybe I need some help, all of these different locations exist and it makes the workflow like the example that you see here. Whereas Lean Library is a different concept where Lean Library sits within the user's browser and all of the popular browsers, and we deliver content and services directly to them. In essence, they don't have to leave their workflow. We push library services and content to them when they need it. So to look at the changing landscape of academic research, I really encourage you all to, if you have your mobile phone as handy, to scan the QR code that you see on your screen here. Scan it, download it, read it. It's definitely worth it. This is the fourth series in the Librarian Futures series. Actually, the first one was published in 2021, and this one focuses on librarian leadership on the AI frontier. So we have some snippets from this report, but also some snippets from our previous ones. So in 2021, this was the inaugural report that we published, surveyed 4,000 librarians and students, patrons rather, from 1,500 institutes. And what you see on the left-hand side here is students and faculty. Students, 28% of them in 2021 will go into search engines. So likely to be very likely to be Google. And then 26% the library and Google Scholar, 24%. With faculty, it kind of shifts and it reverses. And I think probably because undergrads may not even know that Google Scholar exists, so they just prefer simple Google search. In the latest report, which was published just this May, 86% of patrons now start their workflow outside of the library. Google is still top, ChatGPT, as you can see there, and also other AI chat, other AI chat bots, Microsoft Copilot, etc. So that's a 6% increase. I think it's because this go Google it mentality is such an ingrained part of our society that it's in the academic world now. When you consider what we use Google for, whether that would be looking for a hotel if I'm going on holiday, maybe I'm looking for directions somewhere, this instant go to Google is a reflex that we have. Maybe that's going to start to shift with the rise of the Gen AI chatbots, but for now, Google is still top. In report number 2, we asked, how long do you spend searching for resources? And it's quite evenly split, as you see here. Very good at less than 15 minutes, 20%. But the thing that jumps out is that there's 17% of users who spend 90 minutes or more. Now, I haven't got an actual screenshot to share with you right now, but from our report number 3, it was on librarian skills. And we asked librarians which areas do they feel most confident in advising students on. And one of the top answers were accessing and finding information. So my question is, if this is a top skill for librarians, why is there still a large percentage of users who spend 90 minutes or more looking for resources? Maybe there's some disconnect. Maybe they're not going to the library website. I guess if they were going to the library discovery layer, and we've always said this since day one at Lean Library, that is the best place for your users to start. They have all of the curated material. They have the expert advice. They got the subject guides. Everything is in this location. However, what you would see from our previous slides is that 86% are bypassing that traditional system and that traditional reflex. So if you do have users who prefer to go to the library website, please don't disturb them. They definitely have the better reflex and the better habit. So when we talk about searching for resources, I want to introduce you to this free AI course from Dr. Leo Lowe and Sage Campus, talking about the art of prompt engineering. Because with most things in life, the input really dictates the output. So a lot of people complain that the output from AI is not so good, but generally it could be down to how they're prompting and how they're using the system. So this is a free course that's from Sage Campus. Please scan the QR code. We can send it out as a link afterwards as well, so you have it. Please share it around, but it's free and you can make some good use of it. So this course is great, but where are users going to find it in today's modern world? Maybe they go to the library website, perfect. Maybe they go to the discovery, also even good. When things start going outside of this system, maybe they access it directly from Sage. Maybe they find it on social media, on the library website, on the library social channels rather. Maybe they hear about it from their peers or their friends. Google, we know that Google is quite popular. Maybe they find it in the reading list or directly within the LMS. So all of these different access points are existing, and they are a route to content. If you consider going back a few decades, like I mentioned before, if I want to access library content, I'd have to physically go to the library, and really the internet have changed how we access things, and I think it's only accelerating nowadays. And with Google being the main starting point, let's have a look what happens if I search for free ChatGPT training. Just goes on and on and on and on. Students are confused, and it can become quite frustrating and a little bit overwhelming, because when it becomes to writing your assignments and citing, there's no way that you can cite some of this information or some of these links here. It's better that they are going to reputable content, right? So if you want to cite the previous course from Sage Campus, that's totally possible. But we know that students are going directly to Google. And we asked this in the latest report, was how often during your studies do you feel overwhelmed? So very good, the 7% really, never. You have a small segment there, which is never, so that's actually very good. But over 50%, 57% are often or very often. And this is something, the cognitive burden, isn't it? And when you consider from my previous slides that some percentage of students, nearly 1 in 5, are spending 90 minutes or more looking for resources, it can become quite stressful. So if there's something that librarians are definitely skilled in, it's definitely this area. So try to get into that space as much as possible to help them. Then we asked students in the latest report, how helpful would each of the following groups be in managing your workload? So friends came out as top, teachers and tutors, and you can see going down the thing. I wouldn't read too much into the librarian part here. From our reports that we've published before, students really, really appreciate librarians. This is a fact, and this is true. That's been identified in a few of our findings. But I think there is this perception that many still do not know what the library does and what the library is, even not just in the academic setting, even in the public libraries. Many people still think it's just this warehouse and collection of books. I of course know it's not, and you definitely know, of course, it's not. So I think it's more about the advocacy piece and the visibility of the library is what is bringing the percentages down here. And then we asked around guidance and confidence, specifically with AI. But would a student feel more comfortable if they were recommended an AI tool, if they come from the library, academic staff, or other students? So you can see that the library there is definitely above agree and strongly agree. And I just think that uh, there's no better profession actually nowadays to really help with this AI movement and the Gen AI stuff, because librarians have been doing this for donkey's years with regards to information literacy and digital literacy. Is something that I think personally that yeah, librarians are best fit for, and it's great to see and hear about all of the stories where librarians are getting involved in different university policies and central management, and the discussions are going on, and they're involved in the libraries. I guess for me on the right-hand side, what is quite concerning is that 27% of students don't speak to nobody or look to guidance for anyone at their institution. So over 1 in 5 students are not speaking to anybody with regards to AI. So I've asked a few librarians what they think about this, and a common answer that comes out is maybe if there is no policy at the university, a student is going to be quite fearful to tell anybody that they're using Gen AI because there might be repercussions, they might get in trouble, something like that. But I want to bring your attention to 29% that support services, which of course accommodate the library as well. But I just want to give you a quote that came from our latest report, and that's when librarians speak, students trust them. Um, there was a study that I saw, I think it was just for the UK, but the most trusted professions in the UK or globally, I can't remember actually, but it was there was only 2 professions above a librarian, and that was a pilot and doctors. So librarians are very, very trusted by the communities, whether it's students or whether it's members of the public. I personally think, and this is just my personal thought, that librarians need to bang their drum more, because this advocacy piece, you need to bust this perception of what people think the library is, because actually when librarians get involved with members of the public or with students, people really appreciate it. I say people 3 times then. And that's something that is actually highlighted in another report of ours about how students actually appreciate librarians. I guess this could also be one of the other reasons why the library is kind of unknown to many people, is because even with the best effort, the best wizardry with regards to indexing and metadata creation, it's if that content is not delivered in a student's working habit, maybe they will never discover it. So you can spend millions of pounds, time, money, energy to make content and buy content. But if that content is sitting only within the discovery system, it still not might be visible to a large proportion of your students. So this comes from Lorcan Dempsey, who was very much a big thought leader in the librarian world, where workflow is indeed the new content for librarians. And this was what really has driven the machine behind Lean Library, is that let students be students and go to Google, because that's a behavioral pattern and a behavioral habit that they have. So to try to change that, it's going to be very difficult, because changing behaviors is quite a challenge anyway. However, with the concept of Lean Library is, okay, you can go and do what you want in your workflow, and the library will come to you. The librarian will come to you when and where you need it with regards to services, content, and support. So now I will hand you over to, oh no, not yet, sorry, my apologies. A couple of more slides from me. So introducing the Lean Library ecosystem. This is why it's very important that from a workflow point of view, instead of trying to change somebody's behavior, using a tool like ours in the form of a browser extension, and actually other ways which we can do it now, which I'll share, really boosts the visibility of the library. And of course, by doing that, increases the usage and awareness of the resources and services that you provide as well. So historically, Lean Library has been known for being the browser extension. So by popping that into your preferred browser of choice, and then the library will deliver content and services to you. Hey, you got access to this. Did you know you have this article? Hey, here's open access, etc., etc. But then with in this past year, we've introduced a few new layers, I guess, to Lean Library. And the first one is the discovery layer integration. So we will put one-click to PDF buttons in your discovery layer, because actually sometimes that we hear, even with the best efforts of the discovery providers, the simplicity of Google, you just have this one bar and the Google logo, and then you go onto the discovery, and then you have so many different things going on. Of course, it's better, but it's more overwhelming for a student who perhaps doesn't know how to navigate these types of systems. So we're going to simplify that by putting a button when they view content, they say get PDF, and they get instant access, one-click access. The next part, which is the Workspace web platform, where it will be a place to store it's like a reference bank, and also a collaboration tool. So it's going to house annotations. It's going to allow students and researchers to collaborate with each other. And this is the web platform. So we have the browser extension, the buttons within the discovery, and also the web platform. We're also a Google Docs and Microsoft Word add-ons when it comes to citing and writing. So this will then pull information from Workspace so students can easily inject their bibliographies and their citations. From a librarian point of view, this is a beautiful concept, because the library is being seen to aid and help and support students from the moment of independent discovery to access, all the way around to writing and citing. And there's some core building blocks of Lean Library. I won't go through all of them. But as mentioned, Access Solutions was definitely the core, which was created in 2016. Then came alternatives. Alternatives, I like to say, if you had to pay, well, what's the alternative way around it? Hey, your library has it, but somewhere else. Hey, it's open access. If not, you can order it via interlibrary loan. And you have the branding. For everything that you will see from Lean Library, as an institution who uses us, doesn't look like Lean Library. It's very, very important that we advocate for the librarian by making the branding and the wording. It's all going to be in the voice of your library. Extended services support. This happened with Librarian Futures, integrations with SpringShare LibGuide, LibChat, so actually students can speak to you anywhere in the World Wide Web without having to leave their workflow. And then, as mentioned, the last three here is the Reference Manager. From Workspace. So that's about annotating, collaborating, citation and authoring. And then we have the research integrity piece, which is a big push that we have at the moment. But currently we work with Cite.ai to bring in citation analysis and also retraction data as well. So these are the core blocks of what makes the Lean Library offering. And I touched on this earlier, but why an ecosystem actually matters is because the library is being seen in all of these different parts. And actually, a user might have, say, for instance, a user will download the Lean Library extension, but they never go to the discovery layer. So they're going to be hitting the Lean Library extension, but not the discovery. But it could be reversed for somebody. So this is why it's important to have these multiple touch points. And of course, from a librarian point of view, you're being the center of this learning and research epicenter, all the way from, hey, let me just start a quick Google search, to actually taking a citation and creating the bibliography in Word or Google Docs. It's quite an interesting concept, and it's a very unique proposition on the market currently. And the complete vision. So you have the ecosystem on the left-hand side, and something that we've been playing with internally at the word is uninterrupted research rhythm. So like I say to you, from if it's a researcher, and as librarians, you know, the literature review process, trying to understand what's in the academic scene, can be quite intense, let alone trying to access that content as well, and then come into writing it. Users do not have to use multiple tools when it comes from access, discovery to writing, if they're using the Lean Library and the Lean Library Workspace tools. And as mentioned, the Lean Library features without the download, that's the one-click to PDF button that we have. It's just the first step. We're going to be putting it in many other places, i.e. reading lists. We'll put it on the World Wide Web. We're probably going to go for things like Wikipedia and probably even Gen AI tools as well. So like I said, we're just on the first step of that, but more news to be shared soon in the future. And what this then does is without a user downloading the Lean Library extension, and they're going to be seeing these buttons, then that means that the promotion of Lean Library is going to be done on behalf for you on behalf of, sorry, it's going to be done by us using our tools. So of course, that's going to create more usage and awareness for people to download the Lean Library extension, which then they get the full functionality. And the content beyond the link resolver. So this is something that we're going to be building out. The work has already started. We will be bringing in more data sets and more locations where we will put these one-click to PDF buttons. And of course, that will then bolster our alternatives. That's the paywall, the alternative way around link resolution. Now I'm going to hand you over to my colleague, Safian. Thank you very much, everybody. Take care.
Thank you so much, Adam. So welcome, everybody. I'll introduce myself. My name is Sufyan. I am the Senior Product Owner here at Lean Library. And it's an absolute pleasure to welcome all of you to the most exciting part, I would say, of our session today. It's going to be on our latest developments that we've been working on this year. And I have to say that this year has been transformational for Lean Library. You know, we've been laser focused on building out our ecosystem approach to research support. And I'm actually thrilled to share 4 of the major developments that represent the next chapter to our platform. These aren't just incremental updates. These are, I would say, strategic innovations. And fundamentally, they change how the libraries can support their users across the entire research journey. So let's dive in. I'm going to try this. Let's see if we can get the next slide. We'll be starting off first with Lean Library Workspace. This is the crown jewel of our developments this year. And what we've created here, I would say, is quite revolutionary. Lean Library Workspace is a new offering that supports libraries and their users beyond just content discovery and access, like Adam was rightly talking about earlier. We're talking about comprehensive support through reference management, collaboration, annotation, and creation of projects, and collaborating with peers, and also bringing actionable insights back to you, the library. The key phrase here is putting your library at the heart of every stage of the research journey. And the reason for that is, for too long, libraries have been disconnected from what happens after the user accesses the content, and Workspace completely changes that. And how we've done this is we've taken our successful Lean Library browser extension, and we've connected it to a completely rebranded user website. And this was formerly known as Cyril. Along with the Google add-ons that we have, the Microsoft Word add-ons that we also support, the result is that users now have support across their entire research journey for a truly uninterrupted research rhythm. This isn't just like rebranding, it's a strategic consolidation that creates a seamless ecosystem where every tool talks to one another. And how we've done this is, you could say that this slide shows exactly what we mean by the ecosystem approach. You can see how we've rebranded the whole Cyril offering and brought it into the Lean Library ecosystem. The beauty here is in the connections. Everything flows together. When a user saves something in the browser extension, for example, a reference, it appears in their workspace, in their project. When they annotate something on a specific article or make a note, these notes are available in the Word documents, or if they're in Google Docs, the Google Docs add-on will pull their organized projects all into one place so they can access it seamlessly. But I'll go more into these functionalities very shortly. But let's look at each component. So we've got the browser extension. So as we all know, that the browser extension you know and love does so much more now, if anything. Yes, we already know that it unlocks free and legal access to resources, and it streamlines the library's content. But now users can connect it directly to their workspace. So the workspace site and the extension work hand in hand together. And the graphics on the side will give you a bit of a visualization of the interface. Users can save single or multiple references to their own projects. They can import citations directly from the extension, and they can also collaborate by also making highlights and annotations on these references that they save, whether it might be on the browser itself or on the actual website where they're saving these references. The extension itself has pretty much become a true research hub, not just an access tool. And when I say from the title of this slide, where Lean Library Workspace website is by far the easiest to use reference manager, when I say that, what I mean is that it's super intuitive to use and super easy to use as well. Users can literally go on Google and type in Lean Library Workspace, and they can start by authenticating, whether it's by Google or via your institutional authentication, whether that might be IP or SSO, and they can dive straight in. The features are comprehensive. You can organize search, you organize your search and references within projects. You can add tags. You can get recommended articles. I've mentioned a few times, highlight and annotate, and you can share these projects and access them across all your devices. It doesn't matter which device. It can be a mobile phone, it can be a laptop. And you've also got unlimited storage for your project, so you can save as much as you need to. But with all that being said, it's the simplicity that sets us apart. We've worked really hard to remove every friction point that makes other reference managers a pain to use. I mentioned previously regarding the Google add-ons and the Microsoft Word add-ons, the writing phase, if you think about it, the writing phase is where research comes together. And these add-ons make it literally effortless. Users have access to everything that they need to author their work in one location. We support over 7,000 citation styles, and users can search and add references by project and tag as they write. And they can also insert perfectly formatted bibliographies instantly. So there's no more need to switch between applications or tabs, no more manual formatting, no more lost citations. If anything, it's intelligent writing. Next up, here's we've got the actionable insight. So here is where it gets a bit more exciting for the librarians. You get to gain insights into previously unseen stages of research. You can see active users, how many highlights and annotations are actually being made in real time, references saved, how many cited articles are being imported, how many projects are being created, and how many times individuals are saving references and then going into the workspace to do much more. And so what we see is we don't just see this as usage data. This is behavioral insight that helps you understand how your users actually conduct research and where you can provide better support. And the result for your library is transformational. You get to gain deeper insights and actionable insights into your users' research workflows. You can help enhance student success and boost research productivity. You reduce overwhelm with one end-to-end tool for the entire research workflow. But overall, this will help maximize budgets by removing the need to invest in multiple solutions. This is a lot about return on investment, impact, and positioning your library as indispensable to the research workflow. Next up, we have some statistics and testimonials. The numbers do kind of speak for themselves, but more than the numbers, it's about what our users say, and it's what the comments and feedback that we receive that truly show the impact that Lean Library Workspace is truly capable of doing. For example, we have someone saying that I love it more than papers and EndNote. It's intuitive, quick and easy. And we've also got some more feedback, which says the best scholarly tool I've seen so far in terms of practical usage. It's all fun and games, me talking about how great it is. Let me take this moment to actually show you a short video demonstration of how Lean Library Workspace works in action. We start on a discovery page, PubMed, where you can see the extension has detected 10 available references that have been found. Users can choose which references they'd like to save, by the way. What's brilliant here is that you can select which references you want to save, and you can create projects directly from this interface, from the extension, without needing to go into Workspace, into the Workspace size separately. I mean, you can do that if you wish, but it's just about, it's a perfect example of how we've worked to remove friction, preventing users from having, to switch from different tabs and applications, but making it making the experience seamless. You can see that we've gone from the save state, we've been directed into Workspace, and you can see that you can organize your references by adding tags. There's also a button here to add them to your reading lists. And when you click on the dashboard in the navigation, you will see all the projects that you've created. What's particularly great is that Lean Library Workspace will automatically check to see if a PDF is available when you first saved that reference. And it will also import it if it's available with that save. And from here, what's nice is that you can make highlights and annotations, which will show in both the Workspace app and the extension side tray. And it's also worth noting that when you are in the original location from when you're saving, we can also check to see if we can import the cited articles that are in that original article that you're looking at. But here's just a short example. And you can also see where the notes are saved when you're looking at these from a project view or from all the references that you're saving. But what's good to know is that highlight and annotations aren't just limited to the PDFs that you work on. It's also available on the web, no matter where you are. You can make a highlight on anything that you might think is useful. And even if it's not an article or if there's no metadata detected, it will still save the reference, your desired website as a website reference, and you can make those notes that you wish are useful. You can also import references from different sources, which is also useful. And you can think of it as a way that after you've saved something in a main article and you want to export it somewhere else, you can definitely do that if you wish, and import vice versa. This example, where we are in the video right now, I'm hoping that it also shows how we can import the cited articles within an article as it carries on, after we've made a highlight and note. So when we click on the extension view, there we go, perfect. And we click on the extension, you can see the save state, you can see the redirection buttons, and you will also see an import cited articles button. And these are the cited articles that have been detected within the article. And the behavior is exactly the same. It will save the exact same way as you would save a normal reference that you find. It's kind of intelligent. It's basically anticipating functionality, and it keeps the researchers in a flow state, which is awesome. But that's just a short example of our Lean Library Workspace in action. All right, let's go to the next slide. So next up, we have...
Sorry, just give me 2 seconds.
No worries, Nicole, no worries. Thank you for bringing us back.
We all good again?
All right, that's awesome. Thank you so much, Nicole. We are back. So next up, we have print alternatives. So this is one of the second major developments that we have been working on this year. And this addresses a critical gap in how libraries support diverse learning preferences. So print alternatives is our discovery integration that allows users to find the print version of digital material they encounter online while using the Lean Libraries browser extension. And here's how it works. So when our extension identifies an ISBN on any web page, it runs through a hierarchy. So first, license ebook alternatives, then open access ebook alternatives, and then print book alternatives. And then finally, of course, if none of those options are available, the inter-library loan options. And the extension basically detects when there's no digital copy available and notifies users when there's a physical copy available in the library's holdings. So after clicking Find Copy in the pop-up, users are taken to a pre-generated search in your library's catalog that locates the print title using our internal ISBN linking technology. And the benefits, it increases usage of print collections. It boosts your library's reach by meeting students where they research, improve the cohesion between your print and digital holdings, and it also supports diverse study preferences. But overall, it delivers value across different editions and formats. We've launched this. For 3 major discovery systems. We've got Ex Libris Primo, we have OCLC WorldCat, and EBSCO EDS, with many more coming in 2025. Next up, we have our third development, which addresses a fundamental challenge, which is meeting users where they actually conduct research. And let's get our next slide. So with that, I refer to our additional library search widget. We have now added a new discovery partner, discovery provider, Summon. But for those who may not be familiar with additional library search, it's basically our way of bringing your various discovery systems directly into your patrons' immediate workflow on Google and Google Scholar. And the value is basically when a user runs a search on Google or Google Scholar, our extension will simultaneously surface the same search query across all the library's connected discovery systems at the same time. This is crucial because we know that 86% of patrons start their research outside the library, and additional library search enhances discoverability of your holdings in the locations where students actually conduct their literature research. This drives content usage, and it allows you to demonstrate value through cost per usage metrics. And from the user's perspective, additional library search facilitates finding material relevant to their search terms through which they can immediately access your library's discovery or licensed content. Users can click on a title on the widget and they'll be taken directly to the correspondent content's landing page within your discovery environment. The interface displays metadata like the title, the source information, the publication, abstracts, for example, similar to the way Google Scholar does for an intuitive user experience. And users can also pin the pop-up of this widget to remain on screen while they're scrolling through the different search results. We support all the discovery integration that you see on screen, and to introduce Summon as our latest discovery partner. You can configure you can have all these discovery providers open at the same time, and you can also choose which order you want them to show in. You can enable and disable them as well if you wish, and we provide detailed statistics on the searches that have been surfaced and on the click-throughs to the actual content. Oops. Okay. Next up, we have our final and fourth major development, one-click to PDF. So this feature will empower academic research by enabling instant access to PDF articles with just a single click. The goal with one-click to PDF has been simple: enhance user efficiency and satisfaction by streamlining content discovery and boosting engagement with library resources. The 3 visual elements that you see on screen kind of represent the user's journey from search to access to utilization, with maximum efficiency at basically every step. We're launching, the way we've launched one-click to PDF is going to be in phases. So we've launched phase 1, and phase 1 brings extensionless article alternatives redirection, the article alternatives redirection feature directly to your discovery layer. This is through a code snippet, and how it works is we link to the PDF where it's available. Then, and if the PDF is not available, when we provide it with an inline button, we'll then provide an option to be directed to the landing page where it would be available. The implementation does vary for provider, but it's very similar. And we use a script-based integration. We provide, and what we'll also be doing as at launch will be, we have launched, we're providing the data through an integration with GetFTR. But this is just the beginning. We're partnering with GetFTR initially, but we're building out our content coverage to include diverse sources from global repositories to per institution holdings data. We'll be releasing new data points to our internal API microservice throughout the year to make sure that we increase coverage. The user statistics is what comes next. The usage statistics for the one-click to PDF feature will be available immediately at the Lean Library dashboard. Stats will be relevant to key counter metrics, even though not counter compliant since they're not a publisher, but you'll get metrics on downloads per content item. Just wait, there we go, slides back. But throughout the year, we're going to be adding deeper content insights and improving stats reporting anyway, but including specific content and publisher usage data to help you make informed decisions about database and content adoption, and also collection management. But of course, me talking about this wouldn't be the same without an actual demo of how the one PDF functionality works. So you can see that with this video example, we are on Ex Libris Primo. You can see a search has been conducted, and underneath these search results on each and every individual one, where a PDF is available, you can see a Get PDF button. And it's simple. If PDF is available, you click it, it will take you directly to that PDF, which is awesome. Now, of course, if a PDF isn't available, the next best option, like I mentioned before, is to go to the landing page where that PDF is available. And when you click on Get Article, instead of PDF, it will take you to that landing page. Now, think of it this way: the possibilities from here are endless. You've got access to the PDF. You can get a quick citation with our quick cite feature. You can save it to your workspace and start collaborating with your peers. You can save it to your projects. You can start making highlights and annotations. The opportunities are endless and the flow is seamless. But that is just a quick example of how it works in a discovery layout. Next up, we will have what's coming next. So we're not stopping there. While these 4 developments represent our major launches this year, we've got an exciting roadmap ahead of us for the rest of 2025. You can expect to see improvements to stats and how you can export them, even making your data even more actionable. We are also working on research integrity features to further support academic standards. We are making enhancements to our floating action button to make an even more smoother user experience. And with regards to the one-click to PDF, phase 2 will be bringing the functionality through the extension. So expanding beyond discovery layers and code snippets, but instead providing that functionality through the extension itself. But most importantly, we're committed to regular check-ins with our customers through customer feedback to ensure that we're continuously improving Lean Library based on what you actually need. You guys have been absolutely great through sending through feedback through the sales representatives, through our customer success teams, and even posting feedback on the AHA portal. And I have to say, it's absolutely exceptional. That kind of feedback is what drives us to see what you guys actually need and how we can support you guys further. And pretty much innovation just doesn't stop for us at Lean Library. We're constantly listening, learning, and building. for your success. Okay, so that brings us to the end of the product updates that I had to share with you guys. So of course, we've got these four key developments. We've got Lean Library Workspace, we have print alternatives, additional library search summon, one-click to PDF, and these do represent the most significant evolutions of our platform for this year. They're not just features. As I mentioned, they're strategic tools for positioning your library at the center of the research workflow. You gain unprecedented insights into the user's behavior, and overall, it demonstrates concrete value to your institution. I'd love to hear your thoughts and answer any questions that you might have. Please feel free to drop them in the chat. We'll make sure if there's any that require detailed response, we'll be sure to follow up with you directly via email. We're always here to support you and would love to continue the conversation about how these developments can address your specific needs and challenges. But that's everything from me. Thank you, everybody.
That was great, Sophie, thank you.
Nicole.
Yeah, we have a few questions in the chat. So I'll go to this one first, either Adam or Sofian. So how does Lean Library address end users' privacy concerns? For example, does any functionality depend on users permitting third-party cookies in their browsers? And what information about individual end users and user behavior does Lean Library gather for what purpose?
Do you want to go or do you want me to go, Seth? You're muted.
Apologies, go for it.
So Bruce, hi, nice to see your name pop up. So I'll send you, I was just replying to the comment actually. So we have quite a tight data policy, very secure to the love and dislike of many librarians, because more librarians want much more data. But from a Lean Library point of view, it's totally anonymous. We do not collect or store any information because that's not what we do. When it comes to Workspace, we do require the individual's email address to be able to access the system. But I'll pop you a link in the chat now for everybody to get frequently asked questions for the privacy policy. It's something that we're asked often because, of course, the user is downloading it into their browser. But rest assured that we do not collect or store or do anything with that data. We just delete it. There's some things that are required, like what I mentioned with the workspace and the email address for it to function. But for the most of it, Lean Library is totally anonymous. Just going to post a link here, which you can read more information. And actually, Nicole, would you be able to get the privacy policy as well, the actual official one from the website, or I can just grab it now?
Yes, I will, and I'll include it in the follow-up actions as well, or the follow-up email.
Okay, and can I just take the last one from Barbara very quickly? Barbara, will find out, somebody will reach out to you about the proxy information and we'll have a look if we can get that working for you. Apologies for the confusion. There is a function directly within Workspace where you can add your institutional proxy. And then I think that will give you the access rights to what you mentioned with Zotero and the importing of PDFs. Apologies, that was a mistake on my part.
And then another question kind of in relation to like the Workspace and Lean Library, but do you have to pay for Workspace separately to your normal Lean Library subscription?
I can go with that one.
Yeah, go for it, please. Yes.
It's I would say the simple answer is no. It's actually included in Lean Library as a unique comprehensive product, and we hope that it saves universities and institutions money to be able to actually spend money on other software, but this comes combined with Lean Library.
There's also a question in the Q&A. I'll pick that one up. It's my library is a Third Iron customer because LibKey's link resolver is much better than Alma. It sounds like you don't offer a link resolver. Is that correct? LibKey's link resolver is absolutely amazing, and we hear it that actually it's better than some of the link resolver providers, whether that would be Xlibris, EBSCO, or OCLC. It's something that we'll probably work towards. Right now, we don't have it, but the step that we've just taken to get closer to that point was introducing the one-click to PDF. So we will start working and building out a proprietary link resolver technology, something similar to what LibKey offers. And Issa, our library is in Ghana. How can our researchers benefit from the Lean Library initiative? Well, I think there's different user groups that benefit from Lean Library. The first one, of course, is the end user, which would be students, faculty, and researchers. Now, if they go to the library website, which is the best place, then the friction is not as great as when they go directly into the World Wide Web, because you've created the materials. If I'm on the discovery, I click the link, maybe it's a proxy link. I got subject guides, got the A to Z databases. If I need help, everything is within that one central location. So actually, do not disturb any of those users who already have that reflex, because it is the best one. Whereas we've identified 86% of students, library users are not going down that traditional route. So they're left in the vastness of the World Wide Web. They go to a website. How do they know in that moment that the library has access to that website? They can try and log in, search for their institution. Then they'll have things like Shibboleth, SSO, personal account. It just becomes much more tedious. And actually, we studied that when a user starts outside of the library website, it takes on average 4 minutes for them to get from a search to a full text article and 12 clicks. What we're presenting to you now is a reduced click rate of around 3 to 4 clicks with a savings of around 2.5 minutes. And from a researcher, when they're looking for many articles, they have many tabs open. If they have to repeat this process, it becomes quite quite stressful for them, and it's just hurdles that don't have to be there. So, and then from the workspace point of view, having the ability to be able to discover and access content using Lean Library and then bringing it into the referencing, the writing, and the citing, it is a unique proposition. So we can definitely help the researchers. And not just that, from a librarian point of view, you're going to get better visibility. The extension is going to advocate and promote on your behalf. And of course, the content that you spend a lot of money on is getting more usage. So your cost per click is coming down when you adopt the Lean Library extension. And you're very welcome, Barbara. We'll definitely pick it up afterwards, okay?
Great. And then another question in relation to one-click to PDF. So for one-click to PDF, am I understanding correctly that users don't have to have access to the extension? It works for everyone on the discovery layer. And what about for students who don't go to the discovery layer and browse on Google? So
that's actually a very good question. So it's you're absolutely right. For phase one, we will be providing code snippets that libraries will be able to inject into your discovery layers directly. And what will happen is straight away, these inline buttons for get PDF or get article will show for everyone who's on that discovery layer. But also, if you're on Google or browsing somewhere else, that's where phase two will come in, as we're working on. That will be working on throughout the rest of this year, where when you're somewhere else, and whether it might be Google or another discovery place that hasn't made use of the injectable code that we provide, then of course we want to source that information through the extension. That's a very good question. Thank you.
And then I think we have time for one more question. So do students have to use Workspace with Lean Library, or can they use other reference managers like RefWorks?
Do you want to go? I don't mind. Okay. So for the complete integration, then for the full detail, for the full functionality, then of course Lean Library will work better with Workspace. But there was an integration, I think, that we have with Zotero, which gives some light formats, where you can import references using the Lean Library extension. But everything that you saw today for what Sofian demonstrated is functionality that is only going to be available with the Lean Library Workspace and the Lean Library modules together.
And then just one last one, actually, because we still have a minute. I think it was touched upon in terms of research integrity, but what is our plans going forward for that?
I can send a much more detailed response via email, if that works. But it's something that we'll be working on throughout the rest of the second half of the year.
And just to add something, there is some ongoing developments and discussions that we're having, but for right now, we integrate with a company called Cite.ai, which is going to tell you citation counts, but also then if any articles are going to be retracted, that information is available within the Lean Library extension. And of course, apologies that Nicole, thank you for capturing the basic site feature that we have within the extension as well.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, I think that is all for today. If you have any other questions that come up afterwards, please do get in touch with us because we'd be happy to help. And just when the webinar ends, there's a very short survey. If you could just fill that out quickly, it'll take you no longer than a minute. That would be great. And thanks so much to Adam and Sufyan for a great presentation today, and for everyone joining. Thanks so much for taking the time today. But yeah, that is all from me. Thanks very much.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.